Hi, good morning everyone, and welcome to what I was really surprised to learn is our fourth EMEA Marketing Community Call. What we're going to cover today is a quick update on some of the success stories of financial year 21, and then Runa is going to talk us through some updates around the Voice of the Partner program using the usability technology that many of you will be aware of we're using to support our customer feedback and engagement programs. After that, Bex Ellis is going to talk us through the Venue and Empower programs and what's new about those. And then Runa will be in conversation with Maria Bretti from Comstore about the success they've had with their small business program recently. We'll then, of course, do our usual market style recognition, and then we'll close with some conversation around our FY22 priorities and some closing remarks. I'm going to have to leave the call, unfortunately, after having introduced our new joiners and movers to join an important call in the presentation to Cisco regarding some territory expansion. But I'll leave you in the capable hands of Runa at that stage to see through the rest of the agenda. So let's move on, Penny. As always, we'd like to start with a welcome to our new joiners into the marketing organization, and I'll spend some time making a brief introduction to these. Very pleased to welcome Alexandra, who's joined our central marketing team as a marketing automation specialist. Alexandra has a significant amount of business-to-business experience with a range of marketing automation platforms, but most importantly, including Marketo, which, as you know, is our marketing automation platform of choice for the foreseeable future. Renee has joined us in New Zealand as part of Rochelle's team as a marketing coordinator, a recent graduate with some graphics design experience. She'll be working primarily on marketing as a service and channel partner marketing programs. Ruddy has joined us in the central team as a web content specialist, but based in South Africa as part of our studio expansion. Ruddy comes with significant experience working in enterprise organizations around a whole range of web and digital specializations, which is web design, SEO, analytics, and so on. And with our focus on that being even more intent this year, that's a really welcome addition to the team. In Singapore, Narissa Hang has joined us as a senior marketing executive. Narissa joins us from Canon, where she spent 8 years as a senior marketing officer, and so has a great degree of experience in business-to-business marketing around technology. Claire has joined us, again based in South Africa as part of the central team, really focusing on the development of our digital content in support of both our corporate brand and our line of business programs as well. And last but not least, welcome to Shannon Flanagan, who's joined us as a marketing apprentice in the EMEA vendor team with a particular focus on Palo Alto Networks. So welcome to all of our new starters. The good news doesn't stop there. We've got some important moves to announce as well. I think many of you are aware that we've taken the decision to expand the central studio team with the addition of the existing resources that we had working in South Africa. So we're really pleased to welcome Daniel and Chantel as part of that new and expanded setup for the studio. In Europe, Carmen Errett has become EMEA Marketing Director for Cybersecurity and Next Generation Solutions as part of Daniel's team. And of course, comes straight from her triumph of having run the Imagine Europe event last week, which we'll hear more about later on. Another program we'll be hearing about in the course of today's call, of course, is Voice of the Partner. And Michelle Temelis has joined Runa's team as part of the central organization to manage our Voice of the Partner and customer feedback programs as part of that digital initiative. And finally, Lisa McGuire has moved to Runa's team from the digital transformation team to provide a much needed element of PMO, project management office type support for the whole range of programs that we're going to be running during the course of the coming year. I want to talk now about a few highlights of FY21, and we won't have time to go into significant detail here, but just want to pick out a few that I thought were really worthy of mention, and we'll just read from the left to right. Firstly, as part of our response to what emerged as the COVID pandemic just about a year ago, the Stay Safe, Stay Connected campaign initiative that was undertaken initially in Europe and then elsewhere, I think was a really good example of what we can achieve when we collaborate effectively as a marketing community. It worked across borders, it worked across brands, everybody picked up on the core messaging, but more importantly, the way of working in terms of how those promotions and those initiatives were designed and run. And if you look at the outcomes from that in terms of our partner engagement, our social media engagement, and more importantly, the business that we drove in that period, I think we can claim that Stay Safe was a significant success. One of the core programs we're running, of course, at the moment is Intelligent Demand, the use of data and analytics to help our partners identify and drive activity that will bring increased opportunity to them on the basis of that data. And so far, since the beginning of the financial year 21, we've identified about $21 million worth of attributable revenue to that program. And related to that revenue, about $1.3 million of gross margin as well. So I think we can start to see that the Intelligent Demand program is not only being effective, but starting to pay for itself as an initiative as well. I've encapsulated our experience with venue and virtual events as one category of activity. And of course, this has taken many forms. We've used venue significantly, as Bex will be talking about later on, to provide support for these virtual events. But we've seen other examples as well. Great use of sort of TV studio type capabilities in the Netherlands for their event that Westcon undertook last summer. The key thing here is that we're having success, but we're also still learning. I don't think that the pivot to virtual events is over. I think virtual events will continue as a key part of our makeup, even if we do start to see a decline in the impact of COVID over time. And we also see the likely emergence of what I would term hybrid events that might combine elements of physical location events with virtual content and virtual delivery from other hubs as well. So I think there's a long-term future in provision of virtual capabilities and content around events, and we'll continue to invest in that, as you'll see in Beck's presentation later on. Elsewhere in the world, Seamus and the team in Australia had great success so far with their Elevate program for Comstor Australia, seeing really breakthrough levels of partner engagement and share of wallet on the back of that activity. We're seeing great thinking going into the content and program development around Comstor Small Business, and Maria's going to touch on that later on in her conversation with Runa, so I'm not going to steal her thunder. But some really interesting digital developments around that, and some really creative thinking about the sorts of tools that we want to put into partners' hands to address that small business opportunity. Starting in Asia Pac and then breaking through to the rest of the world, our work around the learning labs for Palo Alto Networks were just one of the many initiatives that we undertook with Palo Alto this year that saw us really start to carve out a significant position as a strategic distributor for them around the world. And as part of that, we saw significant recognition from Palo Alto in terms of the awards we were given this year as well, but I'll come back to that in a second. Again, back at Comstor, their Scale Play initiative around the Cisco security products was really a kind of mirror image of the great work that was being done with the NGS team as well. So cybersecurity, whether it's in the Westcon flavor or the Comstor flavor, is a really significant opportunity for us in the next 2 to 3 years, and it's one that I believe we're executing really well. And then finally, thinking about our major global customers, in FY21, you saw the launch of Orbit, Our Reach Beyond IT, as an umbrella program for us to bring a lot of the value propositions that attach to our global customers to market in a consistent form. And as I mentioned, we won 30 different vendor and industry awards in 2020. For the first time, we saw significant global and regional awards from a combination of cybersecurity vendors like Palo Alto and Check Point simultaneously that really start to mark us out as a distributor of influence and impact in those marketplaces. So the full list is available in the recent update newsletter, the Express newsletter, but take your time to understand what the awards were that we deservedly won this year and understand their impact on those vendor relationships. I think with that, it's time for me to hand over. Can you go to the next slide, please, Penny? As I mentioned, Voice of the Partner is our initiative, our program, to look at how we can solicit structured customer feedback, partner feedback on a whole range of services and initiatives and platforms that we operate as part of our business. And at this point, I'm going to hand over to Runa, who's going to provide you with an update on the program as it is today, and when you can expect to see Voice of the Partner start to have an impact in your own regions. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Voice of the Partner today. I think it's fair to say that customer, or in our context, partner feedback, partner satisfaction is a broad church. And in an organisation as complex as ours, that's all the more true. But overall, our Voice of the Partner initiative is really looking to provide a structured approach in the way that we collect, analyse and act on partner feedback across a range of mechanisms, with the goal of helping us improve both partner experience and also business performance. So whether we're looking at the quality of our relationships with our partners or indeed operational effectiveness, we're looking to understand the drivers behind that satisfaction and indicators which might help us understand partner loyalty and retention, overall providing this partner 360 view. We've taken a crawl, walk, run approach to Voice of the Partner, so starting small and focused, with a plan and the objective to build out incrementally over the course of this year, looking to add on different elements to the programme to help us capture and measure the different ways that our partners engage with us. I think Voice of the Partner is a good example of how we have taken a digital first approach, both in the way that we are prioritising the use of new technology, which we'll touch on in a moment, to capture and understand partner feedback. But we're also using this feedback to help us inform how our partners are experiencing us through digital, and indeed to help with the development of our digital platforms and the services that we provide through them. And then finally, through the initiative, we want to set up a Voice of the Partner Centre of Excellence. So this will be looking at developing the skill sets that we need to help craft partner feedback capabilities, and to also help us analyse and report on partner feedback activities. So whether this is the centrally driven Voice of the Partner programme initiative, or indeed partner feedback initiatives that are run through the lines of business, will have the capability and the expertise to provide the required support. And we're also looking to build up a kind of marketing, a Voice of the Partner community as part of the programme, where we can work with, collaborate and engage with people in the business who are focused on understanding and improving our partners' experience. So I mentioned that we're taking a structured approach, and I just wanted to take a couple of moments to touch on the methodology that we're providing, taking with all of the Voice of the Partner activities. And it's an ask, analyse and act methodology. Sounds simple, but I think it's important to consider all three steps at the outset of any partner satisfaction initiative. So first of all, ask, really thinking about what are our goals? How do we want to measure these? Who are we going to target? And what's the most effective way to do this? And then thinking about the analyse phase. So what insights are we hoping to draw from both a quantitative and qualitative perspective? How are we going to baseline and benchmark our performance? And what type of reporting and dashboards do we need to make sure that we get the right information to the right stakeholders at the right time? And then also the act phase, which is where we can start to consider how we prioritise the actions we want to take as a result of partner feedback, and making sure we do that in a structured way. So as we look to develop and implement those improvement activities, we're sure that they tie back to our original goals and to the feedback that we've got from our partners. And this methodology will apply to continuing improving the Voice of the Partner programme as we add in and expand the initiative. So hopefully there's some familiar faces for you there. Paul mentioned at the outset that Michelle Themelis has joined our central marketing team, and she has taken on programme management of the Voice of the Partner initiative. So Michelle, as some of you may know, is based in South Africa. She's worked extensively with our Blue Sky platform and team, and more recently as part of our digital transformation team. And Michelle will be providing that overall programme management and coordination around the various Voice of the Partner activities. She'll be supported by Alan Bloom, who is part of our digital team, and many of you will know. Alan will be our technical guru around Voice the Partner, with expertise around the tool sets that we be using, a Usabilla super user, and really looking at that technical implementation of the Voice the Partner activities. Alan's also responsible for building out the reporting that we're providing through the programme. And then really importantly, we're identifying regional owners, which is a bit of work in progress at the moment as we roll out the Voice the Partner initiative. The regional owners, we're looking obviously at the regional management of those Voice of the Partner activities, but importantly, collaborating with the central team, making sure we get the feedback that helps us continue to evolve and develop the programme, and building out that Voice of the Partner community that I mentioned. So I'm going to talk a little bit now about Usabilla, which is a tool set that we're using to help deliver what we're calling digital Voice of the Partner. Usabilla is a tool set, is part of the SurveyMonkey family, and is designed to be able to embed feedback in any digital platform, any channel or asset, which enables us to obtain and collect both periodic and, most importantly, on demand, that always-on feedback, real-time feedback from partners. And we're using this to embed into our digital platforms, so all of the core platforms that we have in the business today. And indeed, as we develop future platforms and capability, we'll ensure that this Voice of the Partner capability and technology is embedded in that development. We're starting off with PartnerView, and I'll talk in the next slides about what we're doing with PartnerView. But that is the starting point. We will look then to roll out Voice the Partner using Usabilla onto the other platforms that we operate. So Blue Sky is up next, and we've started to scope out the business requirements there. We're also looking at our corporate websites and the Academy site as well. So in terms of PartnerView, there are three main areas that we're looking to capture feedback from our partners. And this feedback will help inform both our sales organisations who are working directly with our customers, but also the groups within our business who own and are developing our platforms. So those three areas enable us to capture general feedback on the platform, and partners where this is live now have the opportunity to be able to feedback on any page on PartnerView and provide that general feedback on their experience. The second thing is around search capability, and partners can feed specifically back on the performance of that search capability and how useful or easy they're finding it, but also obviously being able to provide feedback where they're having challenges. And the third piece, which is really important, this is about our quote and order experience. So absolutely critical stages in our transactional service to our partners. And we now have the capability to have direct feedback from partners on that quote and the order experience. And I'll show you how that's working on the next slide. So this shows how partners will see the feedback when they're receiving their quotes. In fact, not all of our quotes are obtained from partners through PartnerView. We also send a number of quotations through to partners via email and through Excel documents. But regardless of the way that the partners are consuming quotes, they have the same capability to provide feedback. And it's a simple CSAT rating where they click on that starred rating and they can enter how they've experienced the quote and provide specific feedback on that transaction. And that's then aggregated through Usabilla and provided back to our teams. It works in a very similar way if they're providing feedback on the general sort of feedback on their user experience or indeed on the search capabilities. And this just shows you the range and the depth of feedback that we capture. So as well as understanding how and where the source of the feedback has come from, so whether it is relating to a quote or the search capability as an example, and giving us that CSAT rating, we can also drill right down into the specific partner and transactions. And that's really important because it enables us to give specific feedback back to the partner if they have a challenge, and to understand at a granular level through our local sales teams how customers are experiencing the service that we're delivering, and being able to then provide that extra level of customer support where partners have challenges. And clearly this information can then be aggregated at a country and indeed global level to see how we're doing overall in terms of the service that we're providing. And then in terms of reporting, we've got both on-demand and scheduled reporting, and you can see here an example of the BI dashboards that we're currently providing from the PartnerView feedback. This is something that will evolve over time as we look to build out the Voice over Partner initiative, and we're working closely with the tools team to make sure that we have the right suite of reports and dashboards for our different stakeholder groups so that everybody can get the right level of understanding and insights into the feedback that's provided. And so whether that's at an individual partner level, a country level, an aggregate level, we can dig into the data and work with it in the required way. In terms of how we're doing, we went live in the UK, which was the pilot for PartnerView at the beginning of January. And we also went live with the rest of the European countries last week. So still relatively early days in terms of the program, but we're starting to get feedback across the countries where we're live. We're also working with the teams in the Middle East and in South Africa, and we're looking to go live in those regions in March, as well as with Australia and New Zealand, and Asia will be shortly to follow. So the goal is really by the early part of this fiscal on PartnerView, we'll be live globally with this capability. And so finally, just to wrap up, in terms of what's coming next, well, we're going to look to expand this digital voice of the partner across PartnerView, as I mentioned, but also looking at those other digital platforms and to onboard those in the first part of FY22. That is really giving us that understanding of the kind of operational experience that our partners have with us and the digital experience. We are looking and will be scoping out a global partner survey in FY22, which will then look at the more the relationship and the relational quality that we have with our partners. I also think there is a need to have some incremental partner intelligence initiatives. Now that may be linked to a partner segment or a group of customers relating to a technology initiative or a specific program, and using the capabilities that we have through the various voice of the partner technologies and the skill sets that we've developed centrally. We would like to partner with the relevant business owners to make sure that they can craft, analyse and report on those partner intelligent programs in the appropriate way, and doing that with the support of the Voice of the Partner community. Ultimately looking to provide that 360 view of our partner. So that's all from me on a Voice of the Partner. I'm now going to hand over to Bex, who is going to give us an update on two of our key marketing programs. So thanks very much, and over to you, Bex.
Hey, thanks, Verena. And thanks everyone for joining today. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all well and doing well. I am going to be talking through two of our central programs, a little bit of an update on where we are and kind of what we have got coming up in the future. So obviously Venue is where we're all in today, where our event is hosted. I think most of you now have seen events live in action using Venue. And obviously this last year, we've had a real focus on developing training as we all adopt Venue as a space to share events. And it has been a real success with tons and tons of events starting to happen across the world. And then Empower, the second of these programs, is our marketing training program. And I think what's special about Empower is the specific training for the tools and teams here at Westcon Comstore. So I'll tell you more about Empower as we continue, but lots and lots of time spending getting modules live and listening to your feedback. So Venue, the slides that you can see have some key stats. Kind of the last year of Venue and where we are with things. 31 events to date, and you can see a pretty even split between external and internal, a couple more external events. And considering we onboarded the platform back in May, 9 months, 31 events is pretty solid work. So this is kind of very EMEA led. Most of these have come from you guys. So congratulations on sort of adopting this program and taking up this platform and bringing some really successful events to our community. Our unique attendees, so you might have seen this slide previously, and we had a slightly lower, we had 1,001 attendees at our biggest venue event, and that has been topped. Paul has already mentioned the Imagine EMEA event that happened last week, and it has indeed reached 1,018 unique attendees attended that event, which is awesome. I'll talk a little bit more about that event and kind of where you can get your hands on recordings and see things if you didn't manage to make it. But I think that's one of the real pros of this virtual event world, is welcoming so many people from across the world to our events. Average satisfaction still stands at 4.7. This is kind of the satisfaction score that people give after attending venue events. 12,206 people who've attended venue events of those 31 events, which is a huge amount of people. And then the really important thing here, these 5 venue modules live on Empower. I said that a really big focus of the last year has been training and enablement, and allowing you to all feel comfortable hosting events on the venue platform itself. And we've got some really great feedback about these modules that talk you through the platform, and they really are the first place to go. So if you are thinking of hosting a venue event and you haven't yet done this training, please, please, please do go onto Empower. You'll find them in Marketing Essentials on the Empower platform. The latest 2 modules were released just before Christmas and were kind of very specific to studio and production. So really, really useful. So on to Imagine EMEA, which took place last week, a 3-day event, and the content was all aimed at enabling the channel to understand and monetize the highest growth security markets, trends and disruptors. And Carmen and her team did an awesome job and put so much hard work into this event and delivering some really great content to great success. So huge congratulations to them. I've already mentioned 1,019 unique attendees, which is awesome, like great big numbers attending these events. And I'm not sure we would ever be able to get those numbers if we were operating in-person events. So it really is a good benefit of the virtual event world. It was the first event to use our 3D videos. And for those of you who haven't seen, if you go back to the link that took you to the event, if you've got it stored in your calendar invite, I'll share a link as well into the chat after this. You can go and see that 3D video, but the video kind of takes you through as if you were going to a real event, and we can use these videos between the kind of beginning of the event into the lobby into the auditorium to just kind of add that extra event vibe. And this was the first event to use it, which is really exciting. 15 vendor sponsors sponsored the event across the 3 days. So there were lots of kind of different spaces, and they made use of a treasure hunt to kind of gamify the pushing around to different sponsor booths and interacting with different sponsors and vendors. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. And then I just wanted to call out the really engaging content. Like I said, I'll share the link or reach out to Carmen and she can share where the recordings are sitting for you. But some really insightful thought leaders talking with some incredibly engaging content, and not just these that are mentioned on the slide. Some really insightful panel discussions with our channel leaders. So I really, really would recommend, if you didn't manage to see it, go ahead and have a look. So moving on, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the new features, and some of these you might have seen already in some events, some might be completely new to you. I mentioned the 3D animation videos, and it just kind of adds this extra element to our larger events. And you can see in kind of the top right picture, it kind of takes you down this corridor as if you were coming into a live event. And you can see that if you go back into the Imagine event itself to kind of see it in action and actually what that would look like. We had, back at the end of last year, the UK Comstore team hosted an event which ended with some wine tasting that happened over venue. And obviously for these kind of smaller, more intimate events where we've got a country, attendees from a single country, and you can send them out boxes and things like that to kind of accompany, that's a really nice touch and maybe something to think about for those sorts of events. The treasure hunt we saw back in Imagine Middle East, and then obviously at Imagine EMEA last week. And this is kind of the concept of hunting around the different spaces in that event space so that you can find different tokens, rewards that will allow you to kind of win something. So it's encouraging people to download different pieces of content which can trigger a medal or a reward. And so placing them in kind of different sponsor booths then gets people moving around and about the event. So that's a really, really nice touch that we've seen a couple of times now. Join the conversation. We obviously have seen a lot in Venue at the moment of presenting in this kind of conference arena with one person presenting and then everyone kind of watching. And we want to move towards more interactive and interaction between attendees. And this Join the Conversation is kind of the first site of this, where people can opt in to join the conversation. So this is attendees managing to join a discussion or a round table with the presenters themselves. So this is something that's really evolving, and we're going to see where it leads. And then more game options as well. Live quizzes, embedded whiteboards, lots of this stuff. You've kind of seen similar things, but a little more opportunity to choose different things when it comes to games. So that's Venue. Let's take a look at Empower, obviously our training platform. We've got some stats here, 20 modules live during the year, which is such great work. And I just want to use this as an opportunity to say thank you so much to everyone who's contributed to those modules, because there's a lot of hard work and expertise that's come into providing that content. And those of you who've been training with Empower know that so much of it is useful and for your everyday jobs and so specific to Westcon. So yeah, big thank you to everyone who's contributed. We've got 69 people up and started their Empower journey. I'm hoping that by the end of this update, if you haven't already started, you will feel invigorated and enthusiastic and ready to start yours. But please do get in touch if you have got new starters or people who aren't updated onto the system yet, haven't been joined up to Empower. Please do reach out to me. There's an email address there at the top that you can get in touch with me on. Good average satisfaction across modules and across the world. We're seeing people participating. So really, really great stuff from Empower. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the modules that we have available and let you see, for those of you who kind of haven't been in, the modules are split into different tracks, and we have new modules released pretty much every single month. And so here's a kind of selection of the things that we have live, but you can see spanning from virtual events, marketing operations, to real kind of digital planning and strategy, to kind of enablement on the different tools that we have available to us. And I just wanted to give a shout out because yesterday we went live with Intro to Social Media and also Partner Journey, but we've got a competition. So if there was ever a reason to get onto Empower now, we are giving away a Poly Elara 60 with a Voyager Focus UC headset, which is quite the bit of kit and will be great for your home office. All you need to do for a chance to win is complete Partner Journey and Intro to Social Media, so those two new modules, by the 26th of Feb, which is next Friday, and you'll be entered into a draw to win. So please do go ahead over the next week and a bit and get involved. And then we've obviously got more modules coming up over the year. I'm hoping to get your insight into what you're excited about in a bit. So I wanted to share some feedback on the next slide. For those of you who haven't kind of been engaged much with Empower or haven't necessarily seen certain aspects of it. And I'll leave you to kind of read your way through these different pieces of feedback. But I think the really key thing to call out is how lovely it is to see that the things that we're producing are useful for people. Because that's the real aim of this program, is like it's such an opportunity to deliver you really specific training in our environment, kind of with the toolkits that we have available to us, with the audience who we work with. And so it's so great to see so many of you using the different assets that we are creating. Please do keep feeding back. Runa was talking about Voice of the Partner and Usabilla. just before me, and we actually have a little usability form now pop up on the Empower platform. So if you see that pop up, not only would I love your feedback, but it's a great opportunity to see what that looks like as well in action and what's available there. So I wanted to show you the leaderboard because we don't often get the opportunity to kind of celebrate this, but we obviously have a leaderboard for Empower and kind of who's completing the modules. And here are our top 10. So congratulations if you're there watching and proud of yourself on that top 10 leaderboard. It's changing all the time. I've changed it a couple of times over the last couple of days. So if it changes whilst I'm doing this, if a couple of you are already plugging into Intro to Social, apologies if this has changed since. But get yourselves up on that leaderboard by getting yourself onto Empower. And thank you so much for all of you, you top 10 who are striving above the rest. But also thank you to everyone who is engaging with Empower. We really love to see the use that you're getting out of everything, and please continue to keep feeding back. So it's time for a bit of engagement. We're going to give you a live poll. So I want to know, what upcoming module are you looking forward to the most on Empower? If you've got your screen in full screen, take it out of full screen for a minute. This will be over on the right-hand side, this poll. And I encourage you to fill in what module you are looking forward to. Are you wanting more social, more content pieces? Are you interested in getting more analytics? Really interested to see. So please do. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Very interesting. Okay. Oh, content strategy just whipped back. Matt will be very pleased to see Intro to Paid Ads is reigning high at the moment. Oh, yep, some copywriting in there. Content strategy racing back ahead. Oh my gosh, ever changing. It's like being a sports presenter for a race course, presenting the poll. Oh, we've got a couple of landing page email fans in the room. Awesome. Yes, marketing ops. Vanessa will be very glad to see that a couple of people are showing interest there. Oh, great. Well, it's great to see the spread as well. Because all of these are on the roadmap, specifically content strategy and paid ads, which look like the most popular just about, if things don't change too much, are up next on the agenda. So do stay posted, and I can't wait to hear what you think. We've still got people filling in. We'll give it a couple more seconds. Flatten out. And thanks for engaging, everybody. Okay, great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. That ends my update. I am going to pass back over to Runa and Maria to talk about Comstore Small Business. Have a lovely day, everyone.
Thanks, Bex. Thanks for that. Thanks for the update, and well done, and congratulations to everybody who has run successfully the virtual events and also engaged through the Empower programme. There's some really good feedback there, so thank you. Now I am delighted that we're going to hear from one of our Comstore marketing team, Maria Bretti, who is going to talk to us about a strategic initiative that she's been running in the Comstore business over the course of last year, which is our small business initiative. So Maria, if we could invite you to the party. Hi, Maria.
Thanks, Runa. Hi, everyone. Good, thank you.
Great.
Sorry, very bad lighting in here, so I look like a ghost, but I'm here.
So listen, Maria, I'm really interested in hearing more about the small business initiative today. It'd be great if you could explain why you chose to focus on small business in the first place. I mean, Cisco is known as being an enterprise player. So why did you focus on small business, and what were the goals that you set out to achieve?
Thanks, Runa. So I think there's so much to tell, so hopefully I can do a good job of consolidating the key points. But I think, you know, in the background, it's key to note that, like any organisation, Cisco were doing masses of research, and they realised that there was a great market growth opportunity. And like you said, they're very much known for being a key player in the enterprise segment. So they really wanted to be taken seriously by the smaller businesses as well. Officially, they launched their approach at the end of November 2019, and then they kicked off the launch globally towards the start of 2020, I think it was. So that particular launch included a curated portfolio designed with the needs of small business in mind, and that was branded as Cisco Designed. I think, you know, it's quite obvious to everyone on the call that Cisco's objectives are our own. We're very much aligned to their key objectives and their, you know, focus areas. So we wanted to do our best to drive that approach as well. And on that note, you know, from an operations perspective, there was a lot going on conversation-wise with Cisco and our management teams. When we looked to develop a multi-layer plan, so we wanted to guide as many entry points towards small business. So that included an approach to MSP, which some of our other team members are currently leading, and looking to roll out across EMEA. We've also got our own small business focus community. So these individuals are people that have other roles in the company, but small business is an additional layer to their role. So we regularly meet with them, and we've got very close collaboration with them, and they in turn have got a close collaboration with the Cisco small business representatives as well. If we take a look at the next slide. So our objectives, like I said earlier, are very much aligned to Cisco's own objectives, and they are to innovate, simplify, and accelerate. And we've tried to do that in many different ways. So I'll go over that in a second as we kind of proceed through the conversation. But from a marketing perspective, we're trying to take more of a needs-based approach. It's key to note that small business and the portfolio generally isn't new products. It's just the same products, but with the different messaging and different positioning to a new audience. So that's very much what we try to do with everything that we've done, and I'm going to cover that off in a second. From Cisco perspective, they are heavily investing marketing-wise, workforce-wise. So like I touched on earlier, they've got their own SB leads, which our SB leads are very much in contact with. They're heavily investing in marketing. So if we look on Cisco's current marketing platform, a lot of the campaigns are small business focused, and it's really, really evident, and that is going to continue to be a focus as we move forward. And I think our main goal has just been to combine Cisco's expertise with our own. And, you know, when I joined Comstor, not Cisco, it was so clear that there were so many great assets and so much expertise from everyone that I came across that it's quite hard to try and consolidate that. And that was, you know, just a key goal of ours. And I think we have done a great job of doing that. And again, I'll touch on that in a second. But yeah, I think from an objectives perspective, that's where we are.
Thanks, Maria. So it sounds like small business, but a big initiative with lots going on. Could you just take us through some of the core activities that you've delivered over the last year?
Yeah, sure, definitely. So as I said, once Cisco launched, they launched with a new branded portfolio, which they called Cisco Designed. And we very much wanted to look into the products that fell into that portfolio. And we wanted to try and explain that to our partners in an easy to understand way. So we started off the approach by creating a positioning story. So our technical experts worked together. They came up with what we refer to as our segmented C approach. And they really, really did a great job of just trying to tell the story of how partners can, what's the word I'm looking for? How they can, you know, fulfill the needs of the end customer. So we've actually built some great tools to try and get that story across. So not only have we done all of our marketing communications around this segmented C approach, but Thomas Swinham has done an awesome job of creating a bot. So our internal staff can actually utilize that on WebEx. We've got a communication coming out shortly from our CNI team just to invite you to attend a webinar actually to go into detail about how you can use that bot to its full potential. So do look out for that. And I guess, you know, we really wanted to facilitate partners at every stage of their journey. And if we look at the next slide, please. Sorry, Penny. Thank you. What we've also tried to do from a marketing perspective is just try and be first and be a bit different to launching campaigns. So we know that Cisco have got some great campaigns on their marketing tool, but we also know the competitors are going to take those campaigns and use them as they are just for speed. So we tried to put our own spin on things. We tried to include that segmented C positioning story in all of our assets. We've been first to market with many campaigns. We've, like I touched on, we've been different, we've simplified. If we take a look at some of the specifics, so Rocktober, for example, that was a month-long promotional campaign, and we were actually told that we were first to market with that one. We worked very closely with the studio on some of the materials around that, and Cisco really, really loved our creative approach to that as well. So we saw an increase in revenue during that month, which was great. We were also quite different with our Stay Connected, Stay Productive campaign, and also Scale Play, as Paul touched on earlier. So yeah, I think that's some of the key assets covered, and we just try to facilitate through our marketing campaigns. So we've created campaigns in a box, and we've really tried to provide partners with assets that they can use.
Great, thanks, Maria. It sounds like some fantastic initiatives in there and activities, and I've been following some of the initiatives you mentioned that through the year, and there's been some really excellent stuff delivered. I would like to just sort of touch on some of the challenges. I mean, last year was quite a turbulent year in many ways. What challenges did you face, and how did you go about trying to overcome them?
I think, like you said, there's a lot going on, and we were very conscious of that. So we've tried to do less, if you like. We realise that our local marketeers have got a lot going on. We don't want to add to that workload. We want to try and simplify even in what we're doing internally. So that's I think that was one of our key challenges, because this was all new. We were very much planning and executing and creating lots of things, so we're trying to avoid doing that. I think that initially we had to do that in a sense. We created that segmented C approach. We had to find ways of communicating that and really bringing it to life. Everything we do does relate back to that story, but we just need to be careful that we aren't overdoing it. Another one of the challenges is partners' perceptions of Cisco. So we're aware that partners perceive Cisco as being a key player in that enterprise network and not so much in the small business segment. So we've actually just finished working with the studio on a nice campaign, as you can see on the right-hand side of that slide. And with that campaign, our main objective is to disperse some of those common misconceptions around Cisco being too expensive, too complex, not having the correct end-to-end solution, not having solutions suitable for small business. Again, we try to keep it simple, so we don't expect our marketers to do too much in terms of email communication. What we're really trying to do is focus on videos. We've updated our website, so we've worked with Anna. We've just added a simple video library, and we're just going to drive as much traffic as possible to that, and hopefully just bring a lot of awareness to those videos and overcome some of those common misconceptions. Another big one was COVID, and I'm pretty sure everyone has found various issues because of the pandemic. I think at the time that most of us went into lockdown, we were looking to launch Meraki Go, and we worked very closely with the studio, and they did a fabulous job of creating the materials for that. The email itself had way above average open rate, but unfortunately that target end customer were a lot of those smaller businesses that were closing, so hairdressers, coffee shops. So that had a major kind of effect on that campaign. So there has been opportunities from COVID. I think if we look at our Stay Connected, Stay Productive campaign, which started off as Stay Safe, Stay Connected, that was a great campaign, and the team were really reactive with that. Again, we were kind of first to market to go out with something that encompassed everything to do with flexible working. So it did present its opportunities as well, I think.
Okay, great. Thanks, Maria. I think that's really important, how you looked to adapt to the various different challenges that you met along the way. I mean, some of them completely out of our control, as you said, with the pandemic, but I think the way that you've responded has been really good. So we're kind of a year on. Have you got any results that you could share with the community today in terms of what you've seen from the Small Business Initiative?
Yeah, sure. So we have done a great job of achieving our objective-based funding targets set from Cisco. So we've actually achieved all of our OBFs since Q1, since they were implemented. So the OBFs really help set focus, and this is a combined team effort. Everyone has done a fabulous job of working together to ensure we meet those OBFs, and we have. We've achieved Q1, Q2, and Q3, and they're based on different targets. So activation of dormant partners, marketing qualified leads, revenue figures, and that's a key one I wanted to touch on. Actually, we do have one aligned to a new offering that Cisco's come out with, which is the secure remote work offer. And we actually overachieved last quarter by 148% of target. So we did a great job there. And like I said, we've had above average open rates for our email campaigns. We've seen some good traction with paid social campaigns. On the latter side of that, sometimes we didn't see such great results from those paid social campaigns, but we've optimized and then seen better results. So it's really key to look at what's working and what's not working and improve to try and make them work better.
Thanks, Maria. And I think the fact that you're running this initiative for the long haul, it's not just a quick quarterly initiative, enables you to do that and to optimize the activities as you've just described. Before we finish up today, it'd be interesting to hear what's sort of next on the agenda and where you're looking to take the initiative for the next year.
So, as I said earlier, it doesn't look like small business is going away anytime soon. So it's going to continue to be a focus, at least for my visibility as the next couple of quarters. I think we can just really look to learn from the things that didn't work and improve them. And a key kind of thing that we're really excited about is the Comstor Partner Portal. So it's got a really good small business focus. So there's a small business hub area. As part of that, we've got a product configurator tool. So very similar to what Cisco show on their end customer site. The partner can go in, they can select their end customer needs, and then they're presented with a secure network solution. So again, this has been a combined team effort. We've worked with people across multiple areas of the business to ensure that we create the best possible representation on the portal. So we're really excited about that.
Fantastic. Thanks, Maria. Thank you for talking to us today. It's been really good to hear your experiences with Small Business Initiative, and wish you lots of success in the future. I know that you'll be happy to take any questions offline if anybody wants to find out more about the initiative. And at this stage, we're going to invite Bex back into the studio for a Q&A session. Now, I know a number of you have entered questions in the chat box. So if you've got any questions relating to any of the presentations that you've heard today, we'd be really happy to try and answer those now. So feel free to enter those in. Indeed, if you've got any for Maria around small business, then she'd be happy to take them now. So let's have a look at what we've got through. Okay, so the first question is relating to Voice of the Partner. And asking if we're going to be tracking Net Promoter Score as part of the Voice of the Partner initiative. So I'll take that one, and the answer is yes. So I mentioned earlier on that the Voice of the Partner will have various elements in what we're measuring. What we've seen today is really looking at that kind of CSAT measurement and operational effectiveness, as well as sort of digital experience. We are looking to look at more relational partner feedback surveys through Global Partner Survey, and the most likely metric that we will be looking to measure as part of that part of Voice of the Partner will be NPS. Okay. All right, so the next question is about intelligent demand. So we haven't spoken about intelligent demand today because we spent a fair amount of time on the last community call talking about it. But the question is there a success story for intelligent demand? How has the data been used and what's the outcome? There is a very positive story here. So I'm going to ask Bex if you wouldn't mind taking this one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so the answer is yes, we do have very positive stories for intelligent demand. We've recently been qualifying revenue that we have associated with the intelligent demand data. And I think Paul mentioned figure earlier of attributing that revenue back to the intelligent demand programme. We're working on kind of specific success stories around really how it's being used within the business. We're seeing it in kind of very different ways. Obviously, Rob Watts and his team in the UK are driving their Inside Agent program. And so I'm sure he'd be happy to speak to anyone as well about specific examples that they've been moving on. But yeah, we're starting to see some really, really positive results from the ID program.
Yeah, I would second that. I think, you know, the number of vendors that we've supported, the number of people that have engaged in the program, not just within the marketing community, but we've also got really strong engagement from our vendor management teams and from sales organizations, is great. And it's, you know, the most important thing is that revenue recognition. So that's looking very positive indeed. The next question we've got is around Usabilla. And I've asked if we can implement Usabilla on the Academy website. And again, I'm really pleased to say that the answer to this is yes. And as I mentioned, we are going to be looking to integrate Usabilla into all of our digital platforms. That includes our LMS, our Academy platform. And there is a current project looking at changing our LMS platform, which Matt Piddington's leaving. So once that's in place, and also once we get through fiscal year end and into the next fiscal, we will be working closely with Matt and the team to make sure that we are embedding Usabilla feedback onto the platform. Okay, next question is around venue events. So I think this is probably one for Bex again. So thinking of running a venue event, what steps do I need to take?
Yes. Oh my gosh, a very good one. First step, please, is to do the Empower training. It really is the best place. You can find it in Marketing Essentials section of the Empower training. And it takes you through every kind of step. So you can see venue, you can see what's there and what's available. And then all the way through to kind of the design and build and the production side of venue as well. So it's so important that that's your first step. Then get in touch with me. There's also a venue email address, which is venue@westcon.com. And you can get in contact there. We'll arrange a briefing session so that we can chat through your event and what it's going to look like and what we need to do to get there. So that is how you go about booking your event. Please make sure that before you kind of come to the briefing that you're thinking about objectives and you're thinking about kind of the outcomes that you want to see at that event, because then in that briefing we can make sure that we really create and cater that event directly to the outcomes that you want.
Thanks, Bex. Next question, again, is going back to Voice of the Partner, and question's asking what feedback have we got so far on PartnerView. So you know, it's still relatively early days, but we have seen feedback coming in particular in the UK, which is where we launched first. I would say there's been some great feedback about individuals within our teams, which has been very positive and good for the local sales organisations to see. There have also been some challenges, and also this has been in part relating to things like Brexit or in some cases known platform issues. But it's given the local teams the opportunity to contact the customer directly and to help them and to explain why there is that issue. And I think give that extra level of support and service. So although there have been some challenges that we've seen in terms of partner feedback, it's actually given us an opportunity to provide even better partner support. So I'm looking forward to seeing more feedback coming through and really kind of seeing what more we learn in other countries as we sort of roll out PartnerView. But yeah, so far so good. Next question, I think this again is for you, Bex. This is about Empower. So a colleague wants to participate in Empower. How do I join them up?
Yes, please. So we've got an email address which is m-power@westconcomstore.com. Gosh, so many emails, so many words. So please get in contact via that or reach out directly to me. We just need to input them onto the system, and then they can go and start training to become an mPower champion. Yes.
Great, thanks, Bex. We've also got one here which is around events and asking if we're able to support hybrid events in the future.
Yes, we've got lots of discussions about this at the moment, because obviously that is the model that it's looking like will be big for the rest of the future. So yes, we will be giving you kind of more info about how we're going to support hybrid events moving forward. It's definitely top of the agenda to make sure that we have a proposition in place to share with you.
Yeah, great. I think it's an interesting concept, hybrid events, and certainly it's something that's on our radar. You know, and I think we'll be interested to hear back from you guys in terms of what you think the opportunity is, because, you know, with the pandemic being what it is, I imagine the opportunity will vary at different times in different markets. I think virtual events is an opportunity for us to lead the way and continue to sort of innovate. So it's definitely something that we want to check out. Okay, let's move on to the next question. This is one for Maria. So Maria, a question is, what is the main small business marketing focus right now?
Thanks, Verena. It's a very appropriate one, actually, because I'm just about to send an email out later on this afternoon. Going back to the objective-based funding from Cisco, so we are getting some incremental funding around a new offer called Secure Remote Work. So it's very much driving awareness around that offering. We've worked with people across different functions of the business. Again, this always happens with everything that we're doing around small business, and we will be running a series of webinars. So we've got some great marketing assets that you can use to promote that, but we've also got a slide deck that can be used by the people running the events. So I will send an update on that later today.
Fantastic. Thanks, Maria. And the last question that's just come through, so it's a quick question on mPower. So any chance to get mailers to remind us what specific modules we have left to complete, with a hyperlink to the exact module? Many thanks.
Yes, I'll have a look into that. Yeah, I'm definitely looking at kind of more ways to engage people, reminding them on specific modules, because I think that there are like some specific modules that are really, really relevant to us all, and like to point people to in case they haven't done it. So I will have a look at that. We're also having a look at kind of how to make the user journey easier as well, and to kind of show you which modules you can take, because I think people thought that maybe you had to do them in a methodical way in a certain order, but you really can kind of go in and choose the ones that you would like at that time. So we're working on kind of all of that in the background as well. So please do send any feedback like that, or kind of ideas around what would make it easier for you to interact and engage with the modules, because yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Great, thanks, Bex, and nice to see somebody is eager to find out what's left to do within the program as well. But yeah, if you do have any feedback on any of the programs or anything that you've heard on today and you want to get in touch with us directly, then please feel free to reach out. I think that concludes our Q&A panel. Just want to say huge thanks to Maria and to Bex for taking the time out to talk to us today, and thanks for answering the questions. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.
Right, so next up, I think we have an announcement to make around our venue game winner. So I am delighted, but I have to say not terribly surprised to say the winner of this time's venue game winner is Michelle Teja. So I don't think this is the first win for you, Michelle, and you're getting a bit of a reputation for yourself as a game champion here. But congratulations, well done, massive kudos to you for winning again. And for the rest of you, I guess better luck next time. Well done, Michelle. Okay, another announcement to make. So Paul mentioned earlier on that we have a quarterly market star recognition, and this quarter is no exception. The individual that's won this time I was really pleased to see the results that came through. This award is voted by you, and this individual has been very proactive in terms of virtual events, and also in providing some great marketing as a service activities to the partners in the Middle East. So I'm really delighted and pleased to say that the winner of this time's Market Star recognition goes to Tushar. So congratulations, Tushar. Well done, great work, and your Market Star award will be winging its way to you shortly. So well done. Okay, so we're coming to the close then, and wanted to take a few moments to look ahead to FY22, which is just around the corner. I think from a central marketing perspective, we are committed to creating strategic value for the business, understanding and meeting the needs of the business, both in terms of driving our corporate profile, but also in supporting the business with the initiatives to drive profitable growth. What you can see on the slide here is some of the core focus areas for us in FY22. And I don't think there's anything too surprising there. I think what we are looking to do is more of a focused evolution of some of the initiatives that we've started in FY21. So I'll just say a few words around each of these sections as we look ahead. So from a branding and the communications perspective, we're going to double down on refreshing our brand, thinking beyond just sort of visual identity, how we will refresh our brand purpose and platform, and looking to support this through a strategic media and PR program, which is supported by both corporate content and social strategy and robust internal communications. From a value proposition perspective, we've mentioned today Orbit. There's been some great work done around initiatives like this, things like our API management, and we'll continue to develop the value proposition program, looking at digital distribution and other core propositions that we think are opportunities in the market and for our partners, and using a strategy that really maps to partner needs and opportunity. Digital first marketing, well, we've heard today a lot about virtual events, voice of the partner. We'll continue to develop and evolve these. We've also got some significant new programs with our Marketo introduction, looking at the partner experience through our digital platforms, as well as things like enhancing our studio capabilities. I think it's important to just mention that this isn't just about providing the digital tool set, but it's also thinking about what skill sets, what processes, what capabilities do we need to really ensure that the technology can deliver value to the business and drive the business outcomes that we're focused on. So expect to see more from the digital first marketing program. And then the last piece is really around analytics, so data-driven marketing. And I think this is where we've got a huge opportunity to do more. And we'll see some real change here. We've mentioned ID a moment ago, so we'll continue to develop and evolve the ID program. But we're also working very closely with the tools team to set up a marketing analytics program, which will look at a structured and comprehensive program to look at reporting and intelligence around our various marketing activities. So whether that's looking at campaign performance, studio performance, brand health, individual program performance, we'll have a program that helps us deliver on that and help us to continuously improve upon our marketing activities. So lots to come in FY22. We're really excited about the opportunities that lie ahead. But I think the message is that we see this as a focused evolution of stuff that we've already committed to in FY21 and trying to build on those foundations. So we'd like now to hear a little bit from you and in terms of your top priorities in FY22. So we're going to have a word cloud. And if you'd like to enter with a word or the phrase that sums up what you think your top priority for the coming fiscal is. And then we'll leave that for a few moments to build and have a look at what you guys are thinking. Okay. So far we've got brand and lead gen. Let's see if there's anything else that you guys have focused on. So what's the top priority for you in the next fiscal? Okay, starting to see some more ideas coming through. Interesting. We've got lead gen and brand, which are taking sort of primary focus. I think revenue and growth are linked to both of those, actually. Social media. What else can we see in here? Data-driven marketing. I think that's connected to the ROI trackability as well. Lead gens steaming ahead there. Great. Well, that's really interesting. Good feedback. I think we can take from that growth, demand generation, analytics and reporting, all strong priorities for you guys. I'm going to move on now to the final mention, and it's a call out for our next event. So the next time we get together, we'll not be at an EMEA marketing community event. It's going to be at a global marketing kickoff. This is going to take place on the 11th of May. You should have the diary markers already. If for any reason anybody on the call today doesn't have that, then please let Penny know and she can send that to you. But we're really excited about this kickoff. We're taking place virtually, I'm afraid, but we're set to have a great event. You will be sent a survey after the community call today, and within that survey, as well as having the opportunity to feedback on the community call today, we'll also ask you if there's any key topics that you would want to see included in the marketing event. So it's great to see from the word cloud some of the thinking initially around those priorities, but have another think, and if there's anything specific that you want to see at the marketing event, then you have the opportunity to provide that feedback on the survey. So please take the time to fill that out. And thank you again. Thanks everybody for your time today. Thank you to our presenters. Look forward to see you at the global marketing event, and wish you all a very good day. Thanks everybody.